he's fine. I got one of those electric cars, like a little tiny car. And the other day he was going to work, and the weather report said it was going to be storming and windy and drastic. So he asked me if I could drive him to work. I mean, to the GO station or the train station. And so I did. And
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Greetings and welcome to Deep Dive Globally Changing Lives. We're starting our webinar now, and today is Tuesday, March. Why am I hearing my voice? Sorry. I'm sorry. Dr. Derek, can we start again, or I should just continue? It's okay. I'll just continue. Today is March 18th, 2025. We're starting our webinar with a signature tune by one of our global ambassadors, Sister Lorato Shadare, and she sings "In It to Win It." Over to you, Dr. Derek. Thank you.
nation, we are rising with one love, with one hope, bringing solution, lifting up humanity. Let's rise high, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn, we are the stars. In it to win it, in it to win it, to win it. In it to win it, in it to win it.
Your next stop is Unpassive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Derek. We appreciate it. And thank you for entertaining us with that wonderful, lovely tune, Sister Lorato. Okay, we're moving to the mindset. This is the one forum where everyone believes and they stress on the mindset, because it is our mindset that determines what we do in our lives on a daily basis. Our mindset speaker for today is none other than Dr. T. We've seen her in this and other sister forums and other Unpassive forums as well. And she is an international transformational speaker. She is a life coach, an empowerment trainer, and a TV talk show host. And she also is an author of 4 books, an editor and chief of Discovering You magazine. The link to her books are on the flyer for those of you who may be wondering how to find it. And Dr. T is here to talk to us today about steps to building wealth when you are just getting started. Please, let's welcome Dr. T as she presents to us the mindset for today. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? This is a beautiful day here in Michigan where I am, and I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Yes, I am so elated again and again and again to be on this platform. And I thank Dr. Derek for creating such an awesome platform we can share and grow and evolve. And this is the platform to do it. Deep dive, getting deep and serious about learning and evolving. And I just love that. And I really hope that the message that I share with you all today will do exactly that. I chose this message because, like I told you before, it seems like we're going to a transition where people are becoming more money conscious, wealth conscious, and I just want to reiterate that by giving us some steps to really make this thing come to fruition in our lives. Oftentimes, I think about where we are as a society, and the average person probably doesn't even think about wealth building. They probably don't even have an understanding what all that entails because, again, most of us, or so I say many, have just been taught to go out there, graduate from high school, go out there and get a job and, work that 9 to 5, pay your bills, and then the cycle starts all over again. But where does wealth building fit in? And for oftentimes it doesn't fit in at all because, again, we're not being taught. I think in the last 20 years, I think that people have become more wealth conscious because I believe that now that entrepreneurship is on the rise, people are investing differently. Cryptocurrency is something that people are looking at. There's so many things right now that we're looking at, but still it hasn't reached the plateau of enough people understanding how important that is. So I want to take the time today and really stress the importance of building wealth, even if you're starting from the very beginning. See, I don't want anybody to feel like, well, I don't have a lot of money. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. It's okay. Because right now on this platform, no matter where you are, I don't care if you're well educated. I don't care if you have a good paying job. We're going to start from the very beginning. We're going to look at some areas, and I'm going to give you 15, not today. Today will just be part 1. But by the end of this whole series, which will be 3 weeks, we're going to have 15 steps to build wealth, even if you're just starting from the beginning. Okay? So follow me. Let's go with number 1. The first step, the very first step to building wealth, even if you're just getting started, is to first develop a growth-oriented money mindset. Number 1, for those of you who are taking notes, develop a growth-oriented money mindset. The foundation of wealth building starts with how you think about money. How do you think about money? Shifting from a scarcity mindset, which means, I'll never have enough, to a growth mindset. I can learn and I can earn. This transforms your approach to every financial decision. Instead of seeking or seeing things as being an obstacle, you'll begin spotting opportunities. It is you have to look at your emotional tolerance when it comes down to money building or wealth building. Are you one of those people who, when you're in lack, that you get depressed and things are just out of sync with you? Are you someone that when you don't have a lot of money, you can kind of like just go with the flow and regroup until you get things together? And those are some of the things we want to look at today. But I want you to understand that it evolved. Wealth is a paradigm shift. It must be a paradigm shift in your mind. And oftentimes, when you think about wealth building and having a mindset for wealth building, we have to look at where we started. The very beginning of having that mindset often starts in our family values. That's where it starts. How did our parents, our older siblings, how did they handle money? I think I shared with you all before that with my household, I was raised in a single family home. And my mother always taught me that money is no more than a means of exchange, which is true. That is very true. Money is a means of exchange. But she always taught us about being consumers. She never taught us how to invest. Now, she did teach me how to save. She did teach me how to save. But I didn't understand compound interest and things like that. So I never knew how to invest. And I never saw her invest. It wasn't until I saw my older sister who had a salary job. She worked with General Motors for years and working around executives. She's one of the few people in our family who learned how to invest. And she's like 20 years older than me. So I learned a little bit from her, but not enough because of her age being so much older than me. She surpassed me in so many areas when it came down to that. But oftentimes, again, when we are looking at our values and we're trying to work on our mindset, it often comes from our family. Just mentioned the culture. Right now, we're dealing with multicultural. This is an international platform. So many of you are from different cultures. That plays a very important role. And then the last one, which is so important, is your very personal experiences with money. Some people have had very negative experiences with money. Therefore, it's very difficult for them to have that paradigm shift where they can see themselves building wealth. They always have this scarcity mindset because maybe their experiences have been one of always lack, or always falling behind, or always losing. So that's something we need to work on. Let me give you a scenario. I want to put you all in a situation where I want you all to look at some scenarios. Let's play a game called Let's Pretend. Let's pretend that Dr. T gives everyone on this platform $1,000. I'm giving you all $1,000. Dr. Benny is smiling. Yes, Dr. Benny. $1,000. There's no strings attached. It's not a loan. You can do whatever you want to do with the money, whatever you want to do with it. Now, here are some of the scenarios, and let me see. Think about which scenario you fit into, because I want you to get an idea of where you are in terms of your mindset when it comes down to growth, dealing with money. Here's the first scenario. I've given you all $1,000. There are no strings attached. It's not a loan. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Here's the first scenario. You take that $1,000 and you go on a shopping spree. Think about that. Ask yourself, is that me? If somebody gave me $1,000, if Dr. T gave me $1,000, I would take that $1,000 and I would go out there and just go on a shopping spree. Think about that. Is that you? Second scenario. If Dr. T gave me $1,000, I would go and I would pay on some of my bills and I would take the rest of it and put it in a savings account. That's the second scenario. Third scenario. If Dr. T gave me $1,000, I would take that money and I would open up an emergency fund. Take the whole $1,000 and open up an emergency fund. And the fourth scenario would be if Dr. T gave me $1,000, I would take half of that money and pay off some bills, and the other half, I would start investing. Whatever that might be for me, I would start investing. Maybe starting my own business. Maybe I would put it in some mutual funds, wherever it might be, but I would start investing. Think about one of those scenarios applies to you. And we're going to come back to that later on in my presentation. But remember now, you have $1,000 that you've just been given, no strings attached. Okay, so remember now, number one, in order for us to really start building wealth, and remember now, we're all starting from the same place, maybe with little or nothing, maybe with not a whole lot of knowledge, but we want to build a wealth mindset. So number one, develop a growth-oriented mindset. The second one, now that we've developed a growth mindset, we want to go into the second one, means to take stock of your financial reality. What is your financial reality? You can't reach a destination without knowing your starting point. Let me say that again. You cannot reach a destination without knowing your starting point. You need to begin by documenting every aspect of your current financial situation. What is your current financial situation? This is sometimes this can be a very, very uncomfortable thing to do because now you have to take a look at where you really are. You got to look at your income sources. You got to look at your monthly expenses, your debts, and your assets. And for some of us, it might be very uncomfortable to do that because when we take a look at that realistically, oftentimes we may find out that we're in a good place, but many may say, I'm not in a good place at all. But don't be despaired. Understand that no matter where you are, you have to start somewhere. This brings clarity. This serves as a financial compass where you do that. guiding your future decisions and highlighting every area for improvement in this area. So remember, number two is to take stock of your financial reality. Look closely at what you are doing. Look closely at where you are financially. Number three, now we get ready to get into the action part. We're going to get ready into the action part of actually putting this to work. You want to define your personal wealth goals. Number one, you developed a growth-oriented mindset. Number two, you took stock of your financial reality. Now it's time to look at what you have and say, okay, now I'm going to do something about it. No matter where you've started, you're going to define your personal wealth goals. Now, your wealth goal might be different from my wealth goal. Wealth means different things to different people. For some, it might be having a savings account. Maybe you might have a savings account of $10 million or $50,000, wherever it might be. That might be your wealth goal. Somebody else may say, well, I want total and complete financial independence. I want to be a multi-millionaire. That's my wealth goal. Now, if you set a goal like that, wherever it is, whether it be having a savings account with 10,000, 50,000, or whether it's having independence, okay, you set goals, you have to be specific and make sure they're measurable goals that align up with your values and your vision. Now, think about this now. I gave you $1,000 to do whatever you want to do with it. Well, the first scenario is what? You took it and you went on a shopping spree. So now, okay, that's $1,000 that you had to start. Because remember now, you didn't have anything to start with. We all started at the same place. Some people may have taken that money and they went on a shopping spree. Somebody else may have taken that money and pay some bills, okay? Somebody else may have taken some money and they started an emergency fund. Somebody else may have taken that money and put on some bills, and then the rest of it they started financing, or they started investing. Okay, so look at those $1,000 that you all just spent and think about which one of those scenarios are going to take you and put you on the journey to building your wealth. Think about that. Again, wealth building means different things to different people. You want to set specific and measurable goals that align with your values and your vision. The key is making these goals concrete enough to track, but be flexible enough to adjust as your circumstances change. That is so important. So number three, you want to define what is your personal wealth goals. After you develop a growth-oriented mindset, after you take stock of your financial reality, now it's time to put things into action. Define your personal wealth goals. Number four, we're almost finished. Number four, you want to master your money through budgeting. We talked about that before. You want to master your money through budgeting. You're not going to be able to build wealth if you don't have money left over. I've said it many times, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you have left over. Let me repeat that. It's never about how much money you make. You know, there are people who are millionaires and they do not manage their money and they're always broke. They're broke. They're borrowing money. They get all this money coming in. By the end of the month, they're broke. They're out there hustling, trying to get that money, that bank account built back up again because they're making poor choices. But one of the choices that we all can make is learning how to properly budget. I remember one time, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I did a topic about wealth building. We talked about that. We talked about budgeting. And I gave you a formula, the 50-30-20 guideline. 50% paying for your income, of your income will go to necessities, paying your bills. 30% to what you may want to do, things you want to do like recreation, and 20% going towards savings and debt payments. Okay, now this is going to take some discipline. Now, this particular ratio may not be applicable for everyone. Okay, you need to adjust these percentages based on your situation and your goals. The crucial part isn't the exact numbers, but creating a sustainable system that works for your lifestyle and helps you progress towards your goals. Now, your ratio might look like this. It may be 60% of your income may go to necessities, 20% may go to what you want, and 20% may go towards savings and debt repayment. Or your ratio might look like this. 70% may go to taking care of your necessities. Maybe you have more bills to pay. Maybe you have more debt. 70% may go toward your necessities. 20% may go to what you want. And 10% may go towards paying off debt and starting investments. Or you may end up with this one. 70% may go towards the necessities. 10% may go towards what you want, recreation. And the last one, the 20% will go towards paying off debts and investing. That one might be a good way to start. If you can't start with the 50, 30, 20, maybe you should look at the 70, 10, 20. Put less money into recreation, be disciplined in that area, so you have money left over to start investing and paying down those high interest debts. Okay, so that's number 4. Master your money through budgeting. Budgeting is very, very important. It's not about being in bondage. Okay, it's not about punishing yourself. Budgeting is not a restriction. It's a tool for freedom. When you budget and you know what you have coming in and you know what you have going out, what does that do? That gives you financial freedom. That means that you have control over your money. Remember, I told you before that money is a living entity. It is not created to control you. You are here to control it. And when you budget, that puts you in complete control over your wealth building strategies. And last but not least, for today, for part 1, secure your foundation with an emergency fund. Secure your foundation with an emergency fund. An emergency fund acts as a financial buffer against life's unexpected challenges. And you all know that life happens. Life happens, right? We can name all kinds of scenarios of things that happen unexpectedly. Let's say that you're one of those people that right now you have everything together. You're working on your investments. You're able to pay your bills comfortably, and you're starting a financial emergency fund with that $1,000. You're the one that took your $1,000 and you created an emergency fund, and you're building that every single time you get paid, or when you have any money left over. If after you start investing, you're going to also build this financial fund. But as we already know, as I stated, life happens. Many of you have a home, or if you don't have a home, if you're not buying a home, you're renting. So even with that, you have expenses. Something may come up unexpectedly. Maybe you have a vehicle. You may have a warranty, but the warranty only covers so much, so you have to come out of pocket. I have a home. I have a condo, so I'm responsible for everything that goes on the inside of the condo. The condo association is responsible for what goes on the outside. I have already had to replace my furnace and air conditioner. I've already had to replace my hot water tank. I've already had to have plumbing come in. I can go on and on and on. That took money. And thank God there was money allocated aside that did not take any money from my necessities. It did not take any money from what I had for pay my basic bills. I had money reserved, so when anything came up in my home or in my life unexpectedly, I can go to that funding source and pay for it. Ask yourself, is that where you are? Number 5 is, again, to secure your foundation with an emergency fund. That serves as a buffer. That gives you control. Try to have at least enough money to start for at least 3 months to 6 months. If you say, well, right now, Dr. T, I don't have that money right now. What you need to do is when anything you have come over left, look at your, like I said, look at your spending habits. Maybe that 20% that you're putting on fun or recreational things, kind of curtail that. Don't spend so much in that area and start putting some of those things in an emergency fund because, as we said, life happens. I don't like going in my pocket, paying for things like that. But what makes me feel great is when I can pat myself on the back and say, at least I had the money to pay for the furnace. At least I have the money to get my car fixed. At least I have the money to pay for an unexpected medical bill. Those are things that come into our lives. Maybe you might have a family member who we all have children or grandchildren. Sometimes they don't always make good choices. And you're the only one that has money. Everybody else is broke. They come to you. You're not going to let your children be on the street. You're not going to let them go hungry or be in a bad way. So, of course, they're going to come to you. At least you're in a position that you can do it. But my point is this. When you have an emergency fund, When you have that backup, when you have that cushion, that makes life a little bit more comfortable for you. So again, we're talking about, again, steps to build wealth when you're just getting started or you have very little. The first 5 steps that I just covered with you all is develop a growth-oriented mindset. Number 1. Number 2, take stock of your financial reality. Number 3, define your personal wealth goals. Number 4, master your money through budgeting. That's so important. And the last but not least, secure your foundation with an emergency fund. When you start off with these first 5, and there'll be 10 more to go, when you start off with these first 5, you'll be well on your way to building wealth, even when you're just starting with little or nothing. My name is Dr. T, and I thank you so much for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. T. Thank you. That was awesome, outstanding. And you still have 10 more to go. So please stay tuned. This is very educational. Stay tuned and make sure you show up the next 2 weeks to hear the remainder of Dr. T's presentation. Right. Please, there's someone in the house with DR. We know everybody who is here, but DR, please, can you say something to us? Because we did greet everybody before you joined. So it's always good we know who is in their house with us. DR, could you please talk to us? You can unmute yourself and talk to us. I also wrote to you in the chat if you could identify yourself, please. Hello, DR. This is not looking good. And DR, we don't know you and you're not identifying yourself. And I cannot see your, all right. Just 1 second, people. This person's ID is hidden. I don't know who it is. And I'm not comfortable. If it's someone that we know, the person would have said something. Awesome. Thank you very much once more, Dr. T. And I see that our sisters' hands are up. Okay. Dr. Bennett, you're preparing for your presentation. You want to go ahead or continue?
Continue.
Thank you, sis. I know you're preparing. Thank you, Dr. Quintoni. Please proceed.
Wonderful, excellent presentation. I already know some of the things from the list, the short list you gave, what I need to put into action. I used to, years and years ago, I used to have a budget, and after the birth of my son, and I'm not going to use him as an excuse, I stopped doing a lot of things that I should still be doing. But I thank God that you're reminding me, and I plan to put a lot of that stuff back into action in my life. And so I thank you for the information that you had given us.
Thank you, Quintoni. Okay. What I really like is the $1,000 that I've been given. I have to figure out a way to budget it for next week so I can come back with an answer. That would be a lot of fun if I can figure out how to budget my out of nowhere $1,000 from our one and only Dr. T. Welcome, everyone. Over to you, Queen JW.
Yes, hi, good evening to everyone. Thank you, Queen Debbie, for your host. your host with the most. And thank you for Dr. Derek for allowing us to have this amazing platform. And Dr. T, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yes, well building is definitely, we need to definitely have that mindset more today than ever because we're living in times of uncertainty and we just don't know what can happen. And I think the emergency fund, having that set up, will would lessen the stress that comes with not having it. I remember when I was raising my kids and my car broke down and I had to use the rent money to fix my car and I had to borrow too. So luckily that I was able to borrow, but just it have those times when you don't have no one to borrow from, and the emergency fund will come in very handy. It makes you feel at ease and comfortable to know that you can handle the problem at hand without having to stress yourself out. So an emergency fund is very important. I remember even in college, I remember that my professor saying we should always have 3 to 6 months of money put aside because you can lose a job, you can get sick, and that three, you don't know how long you will be sick for. You don't know how long it will take you to get your next job. So emergency funds is of most importance. I'm telling you that it gives you even it just even having insurance. Investing is something we need to be focused on, like Dr. T brought to our attention, because that's where that's where it's at. If we just have our regular salary and we're spending out of that salary and we have nothing left at the end of the day, and we have to go and do the same thing over and over every 2 weeks or every month, then we're not getting anywhere. We're at the losing end. And that's why this well-built-in information is so important to each and every one of us, especially budgeting. I always tell myself, well, I was born in a budget, it looked like. But budgeting is very important. Another incident I had when the church had to help us with our rent, and they told us to bring all our information, all the bills that we pay, and all the things that we had to, extra stuff that we were doing, so they can help us to budget our money so we won't fall in that situation again. So I had experience in all those areas. And what Dr. T is saying is definitely a confirmation that we do need to focus on securing our wealth, building it and learning how to secure it and how to keep money coming in and not only money going out. So thank you so much, Dr. T, and look forward to hearing the other 10. We appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you, JW. I appreciate you too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Proceed, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Queen JW. Yes, Dr. Benny, proceed, please.
All right.
Sorry. JW, you have one more. Go ahead.
No, just giving you the thumbs up. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, Dr. Benny, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before I say something to Dr. T, I want to greet each and everyone. And most importantly, I want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us here this evening, morning, or afternoon. It all depends upon your location. Thank you so much for coming here, attending this our amazing deep dive. Thank you, Queen Debbie, for giving me this opportunity. I wanted to say something to Dr. T. I appreciate your topic. I believe you're bringing this topic because you notice that pretty soon time is coming. Apart from that, you're making each and everyone to really understand that, hey, no matter what you're doing, you make sure you learn how to save your money, right? Isn't it, Brother Carlton? Yeah. This one that you said, secure your foundation with an emergency fund. I love this The reason is because there was a time that I did not have any, but thank God that I have the 401k, and I had some CDs that I was able to utilize that money to pay my rent. This thing that is 9 to 5, 9 to 5, there are a lot of people that when you're working 9 to 5, make sure that you have at least a part-time job somewhere. Or if you have the 9 to 5, make sure that you save at least 10%, or no, never mind. I shouldn't say 10, half of your money, if you can. Put it in the bank somewhere. Don't touch. That is me. Save it so that should in case something happen that you cannot pay your bills, you will utilize that money, your savings, to pay your bills. Thank you. I would say extraordinary mindset. We love you, Queen Dr. T. Ford. Thank you, Dr. Derek, as well, for this
Thank you,
amazing.
Dr. Ben.
Yes,
Thank you
please.
so much, Dr. Ben. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benio. We appreciate the prayer and the greetings as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We are so blessed that we have specialists in this platform. Dr. Derek, you have the best house. Thank you. The next speaker is none other than Dr. Benny, and she's going to be talking today about how to stay protected, because cybersecurity is something that we take for granted, but she's been helping us year after year. And this year, this is the 10th session that she's training us about cybersecurity. You know why I say she's the best? Because she is a cybersecurity specialist. So please, I urge you to pay special attention to what she's sharing, because it affects us directly or indirectly, and especially now with what's happening within the American community. But if you don't live in America, it may not affect you directly, but it still affects the entire world. What's happening here is affecting the entire world, people. So staying protected is essential in our lives. So let's welcome Dr. Benny as she does today's presentation. Thank you, sis, for your dedication. You
Thank
look
you.
ravishing. Thank you. I
Thank
love the
you.
hair, by the way.
Appreciate you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, sis.
Our queen, our gorgeous queen, Debbie. Thank you. Oh, what is happening? Great. Last week, I talked about cyber security in banking, the importance, the challenges, and I said I was going to continue this week with the same topic, the continuation. So in the digital age, cybersecurity has become what? A cornerstone of banking industry, right? Now, with the increasing of financial services, banks are more vulnerable these days, right, than ever to cybersecurity threat. Now, the importance of the robust cybersecurity measures, it cannot be overstated, as truly protected, sensitive financial data. It maintains what? Customer trust, and it ensures what? The regulatory compliance. So cybersecurity is not just the technical requirement, but it is the critical business imperative that what it does is that it affects every aspect of the banking operation. Cybersecurity is critical in banking due to what? An increasing of the digitalization of the financial services. Most of the banks, what they do is that they handle vast amount of sensitive financial data, making them what? A prime target of cyber criminals. If you don't mind, let me just share you guys my PowerPoint. Thank you so much. The continuation. Let's see, hold on. All right. Okay. There you go. So how to make banking institution cyber secured? Security rating are a great approach to indicate that you're concerned about the organization's cybersecurity. Still, you must also demonstrate that you are following industry and the regulatory best practice for its security and making long-term decisions based on that knowledge. A cybersecurity framework may be beneficial. Why? Because you cannot, like you can go to an ethical hacking training to enhance your knowledge further. Ethical hacking is also known as the penetration testing or a white hat hacking. Is a practice of what intentionally searching computer system, the network, or the application for vulnerabilities. As most of the time, I always tell you guys, what a vulnerability is just the weakness of that particular system, right? And the security weakness. A cybersecurity framework provides what? A common language and a set of standards for security leaders across countries and industries in order to understand their security posture and those of their vendors. Now, with a framework, it becomes easier to define the processes and the procedure your organization must take to assess, to monitor, and to mitigate the cybersecurity risk. Let us take a look at some of the common financial cybersecurity framework. We have NIST, right? I have been dealing with NIST. NIST is a National Institute of Standard and Technology cybersecurity framework. So the former president executive order improving a critical infrastructure cybersecurity acts for what? An increase in cooperation between the public and the private sector for what? Recognizing, for analyzing, managing the cyber risk. Now, in response to the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standard and Technology cybersecurity framework, was created. Now, NIST has emerged as the gold standard for what? Evaluating the cybersecurity maturity, dictating what? What does it dictate? Are they dictating? Security weakness and adhering to what? The cybersecurity legislation, even when compliance is optional. Now, to achieve the NIST compliance, organizations like the federal government, the state government, financial institution, health industry, and just as our own company, right? With this legislation, well, as we all know, sometimes it's optional, it all depends. So this organization, they need to follow the guidelines. It is the same thing like when you and we join on passive. They gave us something to sign, right? All right. So we have to follow the policy and procedure with unpassive. You and we signed that NDA, right? So with other companies like the state government, federal government, there are certain guidelines that every institution has to follow in the NIST cybersecurity framework in order to undergo the rigorous assessment to ensure that they meet the necessary standards. Right? We talk about the banks. The Bank of England, C-based vulnerability test framework. C-based vulnerability test methodology was developed by the UK financial authorities in collaboration with the CRIST, the Council for Risk Ethical Security Tester, and the Digital Shadows. Now, it is an intelligence-led testing framework, right? Sea-based official debug took what? It took place in June 2013. Sea-based leveraged the intelligence from the reputable commercial and the government sources to find what? Possible attackers for what? For a specific financial institution. Then it imitates these potential attackers' method in order to see how successfully they can breach the institutional defenses. Now, this enables what? A company to identify the weak points in the system and create and implement the correction action plan. Wow. All right. Cybersecurity and privacy framework for privately held information system. Now, the computer system that organization like our own company, both the private and public, controls that they hold a personal data, your personal information. So our personal data are being gathered from the client side, like the hospital, so that are referred to as FIS, Privacy Health Information System. Technology independency. It refers to what? The ability to be used by what? Any organization, again, as you all know, our federal. The federal government has a lot of people, or should I say it, employees. And we're praying that they should not have problem with the job marketing at the moment. Now, functioning at any field, even as existing technologies deteriorate or what? They are replaced by the newest ones. Practically outline possible precaution and controls to improve or verify whether organization is safeguarding their data from online danger. Are they saving our data, our information? With that data will be what? Your credit card. Because a lot of us now, we are utilizing our credit card in order to purchase goods online. Some of us, we don't want to go to the market. Especially this occur in what? 2020? When a lot of us, during that COVID-19, it was very difficult. But I believe that's when a lot of banking system occur that time. So it is simple to use and doesn't require what? A specialized knowledge from business or individual like you and I. So what are the challenges? Challenges in implementing cybersecurity in banking system. The identities and access are poorly managed. The core components of cybersecurity has always been identify and access management, especially now when hackers are in control and might access a business like our own company network with just one compromised login. Now, although there has been a little progress in this area, much work still needs to be done. Increase in ransomware. Recent computer attacks have brought what? Our attention to the growing threat of ransomware. Cyber criminals are beginning to employ various techniques to avoid being identified by the endpoint protection code that concentrate on what? Executable files. Hey, a lot of us, we do have smartphones, right? There are a lot of applications out there. So the majority of the banking organization now conducts business primarily through mobile devices. Why? The reason is because what I know is that I would say 80% of all the humans on Earth, despite the fact that we know, I believe you guys know, that we have 8 billion plus humans on Earth, 8.2 billion plus. So a lot of our brand ambassadors, they are utilizing but phone. And that is very important in the banking system. They say every day the best grows, making it what? The best option for exploiters. Now, the due increase in a mobile phone transaction, mobile phones have become what? A desirable target for hackers. Why? Because some of us here, we don't know how to log in and log out. That is our problem. That is what is happening. Those hackers now are targeting us. You have social media. Hackers have increased their exploitation as what a result of the social media adoption. Customers that are less knowledgeable, they do expose their data in the public. Yep. Which the attackers abuse it. Seriously. The banking sector is a prime target for cyber attacks due to what? Sensitive financial data it handles. As digital transformation continues to reshape the banking, the need for strict cybersecurity measures grows. This demand has created numerous careers opportunity for cybersecurity professionals within the banking system. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of information security analysts is projected to grow 33% from 2020 to 2030, much faster than the average for all other occupation. Well, let me not waste too much time. Every organization is concerned about cybersecurity. Now, it is crucial for banks to have a proper cybersecurity solutions and procedures in place, especially for institutions that store what? A lot of personal data and the transaction list. Now, banking cybersecurity is an issue that cannot be bargained with. Hackers are more likely to target the banking sector as what? Digitalization advance. Now, in addition to posing a threat to financial cybersecurity, ransomware also affect the cryptocurrency. Due to their decentralized structure, cryptocurrencies allow cyber criminals to break into the trading system and steal money. As you all know, hey, frequent asked questions. How do cybersecurity work in the banks? So the goal of cybersecurity in the banking sector is to protect consumers' assets. The bank should also take action to track the hackers. Now, the number of financial related acts is growing as more individuals work. So what happened to the banks if there is a cyber attack? Through the, let me just say, fraudulent transaction, cyber attacks can result in significant financial losses for the consumers or customers and the banks, right? So attackers who steal the sensitive data from the banking institution, when they steal it, what do? They sell it, right? Data that has been stolen is later misused. So what should be done to reduce the cybersecurity threat in the banking sector? They keep talking about firewalls, fraud detection, and the website encryption, which it will encrypt the data so that only the intended receiver, like you, could read it. Your financial institution likely what? It will implement the security protection if you bank online. So this is where I got my information, and I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you so much, Queen Debbie. I appreciate you. Thank you, King Carlton.
Wow. Dr. Benny, the $1,000 from Dr. T is going to come over, but I don't use my phone for any banking transaction. I only use my computer, and I do not save my passwords on my phone because of the pure thing that exists out there. If your phone is gone, there's so many hackers out there that can hack into the mainframe of your phone and get all those things that you've stored there. So I do my banking only when I have my computer, and I've disciplined myself because of the training that you've given me. So I always will appreciate you. Thank you. That was awesome. Banking 101 part 2. Looking forward to part 3 next week.
Hey, Dr. T.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Benny. Excellent presentation.
Thank
I
you.
am guilty of using my phone for my banking, but what I am not guilty of is I do log out. I do log out. Okay, so
Okay.
if for some reason on my laptop I have a difficulties getting to my bank, I have to go through all these different changes just to get to my account on my laptop. I don't know why that is. I'll look into that. But it's easy for me to because I do a lot of transactions with our business, transferring money back and then. Sometimes it's easy. I'm not always near my laptop to do that, so that's why I have it on my phone. But like I said, I do log out. I do log out and I have a unique password. So I try to practice that. So, and also too, with my bank, well, it's all that way. I believe one time something was going on with my account and they sent me an alert and I have Comerica. I'm with Comerica Bank, and they sent me an alert, and I have it locked into my contact. So when the alert came up, I knew it was legit because I have that in my contact. So I called them back, and they walked me through the process to make sure the transaction was for me. So that's really appreciative of what you just shared. So I have the kind of bank that will send me an alert if it's some suspicious activity. And just recently, something happened where I was trying to find the deed to my property, and I had contacted this particular company, and for some reason they started taking money out of my account. I don't recall giving them permission to do that. Maybe I may have checked the box inadvertently, didn't know I did it, but they were taking money out, and before I caught it, they had already taken like $80 out of my account. $20. And I looked at this. Wait a minute, what is this? So when I called my bank, they told me, well, because you did not authorize it, we'll make sure we reverse it, but we got to cut, you have to get rid of your card. We have to issue you another one. So
Okay.
that was an inconvenience, but I'm glad they did it because now nobody can, do that again. And
Absolutely.
that's what I appreciate.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So thank you so much
I
for making,
appreciate
just making us aware because it's a little scary to me because I know we live in a world that's so evil and corrupt, but this is the reality. This is the reality. So I really do appreciate you bringing this knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. T. I appreciate you as well.
Thanks, Dr. T. Thank you, Dr. Benny.
Thank you.
Queen Tony.
Excellent presentation as always, and I really appreciate the security information that you offer us. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm like Dr. T because I found out I had a bank account. I started online, but it happened to be an actual bank account. And so, but it does have its securities and everything. Every time I log in, it sends a number, a verification number that I have to put in. And when I'm done processing, I do log out. But there was one occasion where it took so long in me logging out because I answered a phone call. And by the time I got off the call, it had automatically logged me out. So I'm thankful for that. So I guess because it is an online type bank, but they do have a location and all that. But I thank God I started kind of paying attention to that and the type of bank. So I thank God for the presentations, the information that you're offering all of us. and we are paying attention. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Queen Pastor Tony. I appreciate you, your acknowledgement, and thank you, Alice. Banking, everybody is banking, right? So we have to be very careful. We need the money. We need to protect our money. The bank has to really protect our money for us. So I'm so happy, like Dr. T said, there's always an alert if somebody, like
Yeah.
yes, there's always an alert. It happens to me as well. But my own bank, Truist Bank, when there is an alert, they want to find out, did you allow this person, this company, to take this money from me? Because they know I make sure I don't really, I don't take money that much, I don't buy things that much online. But I'm being careful. All right, Queen JW, proceed.
Yes, thank you, Dr. T, for that. Thank you, Queen Dr. Benny, for that amazing presentation regarding, the security of our banks, because our bank will be a culprit because of all the information. And of course, it deals with money. So that makes them number one culprit for hackers. But I think most likely we have to make sure that the bank that we bank with, that they are for the customers, that they are securing our finances to the best of their ability. I am with a credit union, so I'm not with a bank. But my credit union, I do have a bank here in St. Martin, but I use my card for purchasing, my debit card for making purchases. So every purchase I make, no matter if I'm on island or off island, I always get an alert from them just to make sure that it was me who made that transaction. So I'm really appreciated for them I always thank them anyway for the security, for securing my money. And also, we just need to make sure, like when I use my phone for transactions also, but I always log out. But like Dr. Tony stated, if they always say, well, your session is over, and they automatically, some of them, I'm not sure if it's all banks do that, but my bank, they log me out just in case. Like if I take too long and go to another screen to do something or get information to come back to that screen, they will say, well, hey, your session has expired. So they give me a limited time they don't, because they have to secure themselves also. Even though we are customers, they have to secure themselves also. So they do have a limited time that you can be in there playing around online with your banking, doing your banking transactions. So thank you so much, because this alert a lot of us to make sure that we sign out on our phones, because sometimes it can happen. Not every bank is really up to par on securing your money, but those are the chances we take. But thank you so much, Dr. Brandy. We appreciate you for always keeping us safe.
Thank you, my queen. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Queen Dr. T.
Yeah, I had another comment, and I like what JW was saying, about the session, how they log you out, and that's a really good security because um, it's so much going on right now, and when you're online so long, they don't know if somebody could be harassing you or coercing you to take money out of the account. You know what I'm saying? So if you're on there too long, they don't know what's going on. You might be getting held up or something. You know, anything. So they're going to like, okay, this is taking too long. She normally comes in and gets right out. Why this time she's taking 10 minutes to be on here when she normally takes 4 or 5? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She could be in danger. So I'm going to protect her and shut this down. So I think that's really great, that you have. And my bank does the same thing. It's like, oh, if there's so much time, if there's no activity, hey, if somebody's trying to rob you, not today, not now, because we shutting it down. And that gives them a time for you to maneuver whatever you need to do. And I hate to think like that, but it's just so much right now, and it's just so scary. And I just really appreciate this platform because, like you said, uh, Deep Dive is such a diversified platform. We deal with health and wellness. We're dealing with Dr. Paul comes on. When you teach, when I teach at JW, it's such a plethora of information. So you're being well fed. It's a well-rounded diet on this platform, and I really do appreciate that. And I really do appreciate Dr. Derek for just having the heart and the mindset to create such a platform. I'm really honored, and I'm really honored to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. T. Ford. I thank you for appreciating our King, Dr. Derek. Oh, yes, he is determined. He will make sure that you, Dr. T, comes. He needs you and Queen JW. Why? When it comes to this mindset.
Thank you. We need him too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We need all of you. All of you presenters have just been fabulous. Fabulous. Just wonderful. I'm so honored. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Queen Debbie McCormick.
Thank you, Sister Benny. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate everyone who has spoken. I acknowledge the presence of our brother Carlton, who is sticking along with us on a regular basis, and all our queens who joined today. And I see Bishop is in the house as well, and Queen Dr. Nadu in the house. So at this point, I'm going to call on Dr. Derek to help us close so we can move to the next segment of our webinar with Bishop. Dr. Derek, please help us close today's session. Thank you.
You are not giving the closing remarks for Dr. T?
Thank you, Dr. Benny. That was an oversight. That was an oversight. Everyone made comments and I just overlooked that. Yes, I appreciate it. You see, we help each other, right? Dr. T, please give us your final word.
Okay, thank you so much,
You're
Debbie. Building wealth, starting from the beginning, building wealth requires so much patience, and we need to really acquire patience for this area. It requires discipline, and it also requires strategic action. Start where you are, use what you have, and consistently work towards your goals. And start off by utilizing the first steps that I shared with you today, developing a growth-oriented mindset, taking stock of your financial reality, defining your personal wealth goals, mastering the money through budgeting, and securing your foundation with an emergency fund. Just starting with those 5 steps will lead you onto the path of building wealth, no matter where you're starting from. But just starting with those 5 will be well on your way to building wealth. And I really do appreciate you allowing me to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. T. As I promised, I will start with the emergency fund, and that's the 1,000 which you offered me. I'm looking forward to spending it.
I'm waiting for it, man. I need my own 1,000.
You have to send it virtually, huh?
Oh.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Benny, our cybersecurity specialist, please give us your final thought of your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In the digital age, cybersecurity has emerged as what? As a critical priority for financial institutions. Now, the rapid evolution of the technologies and sophisticated cyber threat, it demands what? A robust cybersecurity and banking. Now, protecting the financial and the data, maintaining the trust, right? Now, ensuring the compliance, what it does is that it guarantees the continuity that are being crucial. Now, the exploitation, right? Or what should I say? The exploration highlight what? It highlights effective security strategies with common challenges, the threat, and it evolved the threat. Now, in this real world, the example shows that successful cybersecurity and the consequences of the breaches, this lesson will reinforce, right? It will reinforce the necessity of proactive and continuous effort in securing the financial operation as the threat landscape continues to evolve, right? The financial institution must adopt proactive approach in cybersecurity. Now, the emerging technologies like what artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and blockchain, what it does, it enhances the security measures, fostering the strong cyber security culture and continuous employee education is vital for the defense. The future of this cybersecurity in banking will be shaped by new technologies, the regulations, the competition, and the security first mindset. As you all know, mindset is very important within this amazing company. So staying ahead of the trend and adopting the best practice will help financial institutions to safeguard their operation, to protect our customers like you and I, and maintain what trust in the digital world. Now, cybersecurity is not just the technical necessity for the strategic imperative for the financial institution. What it does is that it requires a comprehensive, interacted approach to encompass the advanced technology, regularly compliance, and the proactive threat management and a strong organizational culture. Prioritizing the cybersecurity is what? It is essential for the financial institution, the success, the resilience against what? Evolving the cyber attack or cyber threat. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I love you guys. Did anyone tell you guys today, this evening, that they love you?
You
I
just
will.
did.
I wanted to borrow it from Queen Lerato. I love y'all.
We love you too, Dr. Benny.
We
We love
love you
you
too.
too.
We love you too,
Love
sis.
you too.
Unconditionally.
Yes,
All
Thank you.
right.
we appreciate
We
you.
love you, Dr. Benny.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, Dr. Derek, please help close for us, sir.
All right, all right, all right. Have mercy.
So good
That
hearing your
was
voice.
so awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome presentations. Mercy. Queen Queen Dr. Tunishai Ford. That was an awesome mindset. Oh my goodness. All right. That was an awesome mindset. Really appreciate, really appreciate. Okay, all right. All right, mercy. This thing. All right, so as I said, thank you very much, Queen Tunishai, Dr. Tunishai Ford. Really appreciate that wonderful mindset presentation. And of course, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny, cybersecurity is just the key to the 21st century in 2025. Have to have to be on top of your security. And that is why, when Microsoft computers first come out, right up until in the the beginning of the 2000, there was no security on it. You'd have to buy a Norton or a McAfee or something like that. You'd have to buy them. But fortunately, Windows computers are now seeing better days where computers, laptops, desktops are now built with security, right? Antivirus, security, clean up your hard drive, etc., etc. It's now built in. So you don't need your Norton and your McAfee and all these other security systems, right? Because Windows is now building their computers with security. So it's very important. Everybody said that security is very important, especially on the World Wide Web. In addition, everyone, majority, I should say, not I don't think every company, but majority of companies has moved from HTTP to HTTPS, which that is added security again on your browser for your laptop and well, all devices. From once you use a browser, it now carries the most website now carries the HTTPS, which is very, very important. So thank you again, Queen Dr. T, and of course, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny. Really, really appreciate your awesome presentations. Okay, and so we definitely continue for the rest of the week. We know that on Wednesdays, we have Julie Peer with a lot of empowerment in the 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are back again on Thursday with Singapore and Malaysia uh, in the morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, with O Passion. And of course, every weekday at 1 p.m., it's the Yvonne Duo. Queen Dr. Yvonne, and of course, Queen Yvonne Finn. So don't miss out on those. And then on Sunday, this coming Sunday, I think that will be the 23rd, it is Dream Team. And so join us as Michael Williams AIM will be doing the fireside chat with him. We'll be doing the fireside chat with him once again. So please take note of those time. The Sunday meeting, Dream Team, will be 12:45 p.m. Eastern, New York time. And of course, come Monday, it's Mindset Monday with, of course, Queen Miriam Edwards, EA. All right, so please take note of those. And the Mindset Monday, of course, will be hitting with the single once again. I tell you, it was hot Monday gone. Queen First Lady Dr. Benny can tell you that the conversation there, the mindset conversation was hot. For those of us who know Queen Verona, she was on the presentation on the podcast, and it was just hot. Dr. Daniel, and of course our own Queen Verona. So it is hot. Come and join next week Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, New York time. Thank you all very much for making it deep dive, globally changing lives, and we'll see you again on Thursday for another wonderful, wonderful presentation with, of course, Queen Jacqueline Warner. And so join us for another wonderful deep dive come Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all very much for joining us. And King Carlton, see you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I think I saw Queen Lily Lane. Thank you all very much. And all the kings and queens in the house. Thank you very much for joining with us. Yes, good night, Queen Dr. T. Really appreciate, really appreciate you coming and joining us and give such a wonderful presentation. Queen Pastor Coleman, thank you for joining us and being with us, supporting Dr. T. All right, wonderful. And all the kings and queens in the house, thank you all very much. Appreciate. But last but not least, our fabulous, wonderful host with the most, Queen Debbie McCormick. Uh, Peace, blessings, and enough love to you. The ship will not sail without you on board. Really appreciate you. Love you very much, and I hope King Jim is okay. All right, thumbs up. Nice. All right. Um, Tell him that I miss him. And Unpassive is the only place you can tell man that you miss them. All right. So don't feel bad. Okay. Um, nice. Tell him that I miss him, and hope he stay safe. All right. So we're closing down the curtain here on Deep Dive, Globally Changing Lives. We will have an after party here in studio, but those on YouTube, all right, you take care and have a good and wonderful evening and rest of the day and rest of the week. Walk good and let God be your guide. I take best care and we turn it over to the DJ double, which is of course Reverend Bishop Harold and Dr. Nadu. So thank you all very much for making it deep dive, globally changing lives. Over to you, Queen Dr. Nadu, and take best care.
Recording stopped.